Once upon a time, in a forgotten kingdom hidden beyond silver mountains, there lived a princess who could only live under the light of the moon. Her name was Princess Alara, known across the land as the Moonlight Princess. Every night, when the moon rose high and pale beams touched the marble towers of her castle, her heart began to beat again. Her breath returned. Her skin glowed like soft silver, and her eyes shimmered like stars fallen to earth. But when the first ray of dawn kissed the land, she turned into cold, lifeless stone. Her people called it the curse of daylight. The curse had been cast when Alara was just a child. A jealous sorceress had envied her kindness and beauty, whispering to the winds, "Let her beauty live only where light fades. Let her heart belong to darkness." For years, the kingdom of Lenara lived in sorrow. Their princess could not rule, could not walk in the sun, could not feel the warmth of day. The royal gardens grew wild, and hope became a shadow. But every night, Alara wandered through the moonlit halls, singing softly to the stars. Her voice was so pure that even the owls stopped to listen, and the lakes shimmered brighter when she sang. And though she smiled, her eyes carried a silent ache. The ache of someone who longed to see the sun rise just once. One night, far away in a small village, a poor soldier named Arion fell asleep beside a dying campfire. He had fought many wars, lost many friends, and now wandered without purpose. But that night, he dreamt of a strange vision. In his dream, a glowing girl stood by a silver lake. Her voice echoed through his soul. "I live where shadows bloom. Find me beneath the moon. Bring me the prayer of the sun, and free me." Arion awoke with his heart pounding. The night was still, the moon high above him. Full and radiant, he could still feel her voice lingering in the air. Like music, he didn't know her name, or if she was real, but something deep inside told him she needed him, guided only by dreams. Arion journeyed for 7 nights, following the moon wherever it rose. At last, he reached a silent forest where moonlight spilled like silver rain. In its heart was a lake, perfectly still, perfectly round, reflecting the moon like a mirror. And there, standing by the water, was Princess Alara. Her gown was made of starlight. Her hair floated like silk in the night breeze. But her eyes, they were full of loneliness and longing. Arion bowed. "I have seen you in my dreams," he said softly. "Are you real?" She smiled faintly. "Real only in the dark," she whispered. "When the sun comes, I become stone again." Her voice trembled like the surface of the lake. Arion took a hesitant step closer. "You spoke of something, the prayer of the sun. What is it?" Alara looked toward the horizon, where night met the edge of dawn. "It is an ancient spell," she said. "The only thing that can break my curse. But no one knows where it lies, except the winds of the east." The soldier clenched his fists. "Then I will find it," he said with quiet determination. For the first time in years, Alara felt something stir in her heart. Hope. Together, they began their journey, but only by night. Alara could walk only beneath the moon, and when dawn came, Arion carried her stone form wrapped in cloth, protecting her like a precious relic. They crossed deserts that shimmered under moonlight. They climbed mountains where stars seemed close enough to touch. Night, she guided him with her soft voice, telling stories of constellations and forgotten gods. By day, he walked in silence, carrying her heavy form, whispering, "Hold on, princess. I will find your light." Days turned into weeks. Their hearts grew close, bound by courage and care. The man who once had nothing now carried the most precious treasure in the world, the hope of another soul. Finally, they reached the edge of the desert, where the sands turned golden and the moon faded into the horizon. Before them stood an ancient temple, half buried, half glowing with faint sunlight. Arion looked at the sky. "It's almost dawn," he whispered. He gently set down the stone statue of Alara. "Wait for me," he said, and entered the temple. Inside, golden runes shimmered on the walls. At the center stood a broken altar, and carved upon it were ancient words. "The prayer of the sun is not spoken. It is felt. O awaken light. One must give what light fears, darkness itself." Arion understood. To bring her to the sun, he would have to give his life. He smiled sadly. "Then so be it," he whispered. He pressed his palms to the altar, closed his eyes, and spoke from his heart. Let my shadow become her dawn. A beam of sunlight broke through the temple roof, fierce, golden, and alive. It struck Arion's chest. Pain surged through him, but he did not scream. Instead, he whispered, Elara, live. Outside, as the sun rose, for the first time in her life, the stone cracked. Light poured from within. Princess Elara opened her eyes. In daylight, she looked down at herself, trembling. Her skin was warm. Her heart was beating. The curse was gone. But when she turned toward the temple, Arion was gone. Only his shadow remained on the wall, shaped like a man looking toward the sunrise. Elara fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. You gave me light, and I lost you to it. The wind whispered gently through the golden sands. And though she was alone, she felt his presence everywhere. In the warmth of the sun, in the glow of the dawn. She returned to her kingdom, no longer the Moonlight Princess, but the Princess of Dawn. Every morning, she stood upon her balcony, letting the sunlight fall upon her face. And when the sun reached its peak, she whispered softly, Your shadow became my hope. The people said the kingdom never saw darkness again, not because the nights disappeared, but because the hearts of its people learned to find light even in the dark. True hope is not the absence of darkness. It is the courage to bring light into it. Sometimes, love shines brightest when all else fades.